Welcome to the financial model in ETA IQ. To get started, you can create a new model directly from the deal tracker. Simply click on Create Model if this is your first model for the deal, or use the menu here to add another. You'll then enter the model's name and select the type of senior debt you'll be using. If you choose a conventional loan, you'll also have the option to select from a few currencies or apply no currency at all. Okay, now using a model that's already completed, let's dive into the key components. In addition to this walkthrough, another helpful element in the platform is that nearly every term in the model is clickable. Click on a term and a slide out will appear on the right side of the page, explaining how it's used in the model, what the term means, some relevant tips, and answers to some frequently asked questions, all specifically through the lens of ETA and search funds. Okay, let's begin. In the left sidebar, you'll find your assumptions panel. This is typically where you'll start. Aside from the company financials, this is where you'll enter all the key inputs for your deal. It covers everything from purchase info to real estate, if your deal includes it, to your finance structure, where you can enter in your senior debt, a seller's note, personal equity you'll be contributing to the deal, a seller rollover, and equity from investors. If you have external equity, whether that's from investors or a seller rollover, in the equity investor details section, you can add your preferred equity rate, an equity step up multiple, and you can designate when preferred dividends and principal repayments start. ETA IQ's model uses a standard participating preferred structure for investors. We'll cover this more when we get to the projections tab. But a participating preferred structure means that anyone with preferred equity will receive a preferred return. That preferred return comes in the form of preferred dividends based on this preferred equity rate and a 1x liquidation preference, which means investors who receive preferred equity will first get their invested capital back before profit distributions are made to common equity holders. Once those preferred returns are fully satisfied, that's when preferred returns and principal repayments end and when profit distributions kick in. If you don't want to pay out preferred dividends or principal repayments during the hold period, and you want that to be paid out at the time of exit, then you'll simply set the start date to the last year of your projections. So if you're projecting a sale in year 10, then you'll simply set both of these to year 10. By the way, anytime you want to undo an action, you can simply hit Control Z on your keyboard to undo. So we'll hit it twice here to undo those start years. And finally, if you're running a traditional search fund and you've raised capital to fund your search phase, you can enter that in here by toggling this option and entering in that amount. Those investors will appear on your cap table, but will not show up in the sources and uses table to fund the acquisition itself, since that capital went toward your search expenses. Any equity those investors provide for the acquisition will still be entered separately in the equity field for acquisition investors. If you have investors, the equity term section builds off of your finance structure. It's where you can classify which groups of investors receive preferred equity versus common equity, and whether or not they receive an equity step up. Only preferred equity is eligible for an equity step up. So if you classify an investor group as common equity, you'll see the equity step up option disabled. As you change these options, you'll see the company ownership split update in real time. And you can click on this full cap table button, which will take you to the ROI metrics tab, where you can see more detail by investor group. We'll get to back and level later. Here at the top of the equity term section, there are two different ways in which you can calculate how company ownership is split between you and your investors. There's the equity method, which is typically used in traditional search deals, but it can also apply to self-funded searches. Ownership is based only on the equity investment. So the model will take the amount invested that's classified as preferred equity and will apply an equity step up if you've selected it and calculate both the preferred equity and the pro rata conversion to common equity. You can click on the tooltip to read in detail how the equity method works. The equity method is also the option that enables you to enter in a fixed searcher ownership, commonly referred to as the searcher's promote or the searcher's carry. It's essentially the sweat equity you receive for sourcing and closing the deal and then managing and operating the business. The searcher's promote is always treated as common equity, so you won't see it in the equity treatment section, but you'll see it reflected here in the ownership breakdown. The project cost method is the other option. This approach tends to be unique to self-funded search deals, where ownership is based on the total project cost, which includes debt. The total project cost can be found in the Sources and Uses table in the Overview tab. Under the project cost method, the searcher's promote is residual, meaning it's not a fixed amount like it is under the equity method. The searcher's promote is allocated only after all other investors receive their common equity allocation, with whatever remains after that falling down to the searcher. This residual mechanic is the primary reason how self-funded searchers can end up owning 60 to 70% of the company while raising money from investors and still being able to deliver strong returns to those investors. Next, you have working capital, where you can enter any working capital that you or the seller will be contributing to the deal. This will all flow into your Sources and Uses table in the Overview tab. Below that, you have the line of credit section, where you can add a line of credit which will be applied in the Projections tab. Deal expenses is next. The expenses you enter here can be rolled into your senior loan and will be reflected in your Sources and Uses table. You'll also have the option for these expenses to be amortized in your Projections tab. We'll touch on this more when we get to that section. These next two sections are where you can adjust your terms for your senior debt and your seller's note, if that's part of your finance structure. If you selected an SBA loan as your senior debt and you have real estate included in your deal, the SBA allows you to extend the amortization of your loan, depending on how much of the purchase price is allocated towards the value of the real estate. The amortization schedule will adjust automatically based on SBA rules once you've entered in the value for the property in the real estate section above. Separately, you also have the option to roll in fees that are common in S&B acquisition deals that are made with an SBA or conventional loan. In the seller's note section, you have the option to add a standby provision, either full standby or partial standby. And you can designate whether interest accrues during the full standby period or kicks in only when payments for the seller note begins. If you want to model a company's sale, you can do so here. Once you've completed your projections, you'll simply enter in the year of the company's sale and your EBITDA exit multiple. Those sale proceeds will flow into your projections. And finally, you've got buyer's compensation, capital expenditures, where you can enter in both maintenance CapEx and growth CapEx, which we'll cover in detail in the projections section. You can also customize your depreciation and amortization schedule. And in the taxes section, you can set your tax rate and your business entity type, which again, we'll touch on once we get to the projections.